Our first guest this evening spoke at this year's RNC convention as a member of the Trump 2020 Campaign Advisory Board. And let's talk about this final stretch now. Welcome to the show, Natalie Harp. Natalie, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing?
Great to be with you. Tomorrow's going to be a magnificent day for America. We're excited.
That's the first time I think I've heard that one. It's going to be a what kind of day?
Magnificent.
Okay. I'll just let her say that one. I like that. That's something new I had not heard. Natalie, I remember hearing your speech. You have been pumped up and out there pushing for President Trump and the conservative agenda for several years now. Let's talk about what the campaign is doing in the home stretch. We see him zigzagging all over the Midwest, as it always comes down to. I'm a Buckeye originally. I'm thinking Ohio will go Trump, no problem. What about Pennsylvania? I've been saying this for weeks, if not months. What are you hearing out there on the ground from folks at the RNC?
Oh, Pennsylvania, it's amazing. I mean, have you seen the crowds that the president has gotten compared to like the honking horns at the Biden rallies? But I mean, this is a movement. We've never seen anything like this before. I mean, when we look at the results, even when you look at the percentages from 4 years ago, we're outperforming in all of it. And I mean, they had us so behind last time and we won in a landslide compared to what they were saying we were going to win. So it's going to be a convincing win tomorrow. The Democrats even believe it. I mean, look at what they're already talking about. Oh, no, it's a red mirage. We're not going to concede. I mean, they're seeing something. They realize they're going to lose. Pennsylvania, Michigan, North Carolina. I mean, these lockdowns have really played against these states because no one wants to live under a lockdown. I mean, you see what's happening in Europe right now. People don't want to go back to that. They want to have the freedom to live their lives. They want oil. They want fracking. I mean, Biden and Harris, you know what they already want. You see Lady Gaga. I mean, here they bring out all the celebrities again, campaigning. Oh, yeah, that worked so well for Hillary.
Yeah.
And all you've got with President Trump and everyday Americans, that's what's going to win. Those are the votes that are going to make the difference, and we're going to win big league tomorrow.
I think with COVID and all the lockdowns, too, you know, I've said this to some of our producers before, I think Americans really learned who folks are in this country that are essential and meaningful. They learned that big NFL, NBA, you name it, celebrity types in the sporting world, they learned that they're movie stars, they're singers, all of those folks and their opinions don't mean jack squat, and that most of them are out of touch from regular working day folks. And I think that really hit home. So where I've seen the left and the left-wing media playing this COVID and these lockdowns up what they think is in their favor, I think it's backfired on them.
Oh, totally. I mean, look at Michigan. I mean, you see that she's got her husband out all the time. He's not under lockdown orders. I mean, just this week in California, where I'm from, Governor Newsom, you hear that he's sending his kids to private school, whereas a lot of the other public schools are shut down. So obviously the elites, they're going to get to keep on living their lives. They want to control all of us. And when you look at those swing states, when you look at Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, they know what it's like to live under a lockdown. They don't want to live in a prison state for the next year and a half of their lives and watch the elites get away with everything. I mean, look at the momentum you see, even in California, even when you look in Hollywood, in LA, you've got people with Trump flags and American flags. All of these truck parades, boat parades, people are motivated. They realize, you know what, this is our country. We realized our votes mattered in 2016. And now everyone, this grassroots effort, they're out campaigning, even at events that the president and his team aren't even at, because it's a movement. It's about the people. It's not about the politicians. And that's why tomorrow is so important, because we get to show them once and for all, and once again, that we are not going to go back to the years of when we were forgotten. I mean, what Joe Biden forgot for years is forgotten no longer, and we're going to keep it that way.
Well, Joe Biden's forgotten his name sometimes, but we won't go there. Yeah, I find it so hypocritical of these folks on the left, and you may have seen the picture that came out again. One of the biggest mouthpieces for the left is Chris Cuomo over at the Communist News Network, and I watched another pic drop of him getting his haircut this weekend, not wearing a mask, right in Manhattan. Now, I got mine trimmed up, and guess what? They were very adamant about you have to wear it, you have to have it on. And I'm like, okay, I'll follow the rules. Yet this guy has been caught time and time and time again not wearing his, yet every day they have the COVID death ticker up on their screen, instilling fear in Americans and telling them, stay safe, stay locked down, wear your masks, blah, blah, blah. The hypocrisy is just unreal. Let's talk about what a Trump versus Biden presidency would look like. You heard the story right before I introed you, Natalie, about what old Bernie was up to this weekend, talking with AOC and her group. We all know that Joe Biden grew up in an era that is not this crazy extreme left that we're seeing today. But once he gets in, if he gets in, let me back up, that left plans on making him do their bidding, don't they?
Absolutely. I mean, every issue on the ballot tomorrow, it could be off the ballot forever if they were to win. I mean, they want to abolish the police. They want to abolish private health insurance. They want to abolish our immigration laws. They've even talked about tearing down the wall. Everything they want to get rid of, our rights, our values. I mean, gun rights are coming for your guns, your religion. They want to keep your churches closed. I mean, we've all lived under control for the last year. We realize where they're going with this. I mean, the riots in the streets where you actually have these elite politicians moving out of their homes into other areas because they aren't willing to stand up for the mob. So Bernie, AOC plus three, they're totally running the ticket. But I mean, look at Kamala. She's even more liberal than Bernie Sanders. The video that she put out just yesterday talking about this equal footing, it's Marxist ideology that they have. America isn't going to be a socialist country. Americans want their rights to be able to make decisions for their families, for their communities, for their churches. They don't want to be controlled by bureaucrats in Washington making decisions over their health care, whether or not their kids can go to school. I mean, they want to get rid of school choice, charter schools, while they get to send their kids to private schools. So the double standard, it couldn't be greater. We really are running against a party of socialists and communists right now. America doesn't want that. The Democrat Party is not as it used to be. We have so many Democrats, Republicans, independents coming into the party of Trump because that's the party of America and the freedom. And that's why we want to keep it that way.
Yeah, and you'd think that somebody on the left, and there's only been like one or two, Tulsi Gabbard's one I can think of, and not too many others, that actually have had the guts to stand up and say, this is not my parents, my grandparents' Democrat Party. This is something totally different. It is so far gone to the left that you're right. It is not only socialist, it's Marxist, it's communism. It is unreal, some of the things they want to institute if they take power. And I got to go a step further. It's not just the presidency on the line, but we've got to make sure we hold on to the Senate too. Because God forbid they grab that, even if President Trump wins, then we'll be at an impasse for getting anything done for the next 4 years. So that is key to me too, are those Senate races. Finally, Natalie, I want you to touch a little bit on election integrity tomorrow night and how we need to calm nerves because, let's be real, in several states who have allowed these ballots to come in days later, they're still going to be counting. And unless we do see that massive red wave, which my fingers are crossed, I'm hoping it's going to happen, and President Trump and these senators we need are clear winners, we may have to be waiting days, hopefully not weeks, until we know who has won several of these races. Correct?
Right. I mean, that's why we really need a convincing win and everything, all the data. It looks like we are going to win by a huge majority in these states. It's so important for people to get out and vote because we have to win by convincing margins so that it doesn't drag out for such a long time. I mean, we know we're going to win, obviously, because they know they're going to lose. And so they want it to end up in the courts. I mean, you saw even the Pennsylvania Attorney General coming out and already talking about undermining election integrity. All throughout this election cycle, they've tried to undermine it, but we have groups on the ground. We have lawyers. Report if you see any voter fraud going on, report it, because this is our election. We believe in election integrity, and we're going to win tomorrow if they don't try to steal it. They've been trying to steal it, but you know what? The American people, we're stronger, and we're going to prove that tomorrow. Yeah,
that's my worry. We have reported on multiple cases of voter fraud, ballot harvesting, people showing up and, oh, you already voted. Oh, wait, your grandma's on the roll. Oh, she died 10 years ago. Oh, I moved states. I've got ballots in 3 states. I mean, it's unreal. There is election fraud happening. Like you said, we need to point it out, but also remain calm tomorrow. And let's hope for that red wave so they can concede and we can move on with the America that we all know and love. Natalie, Harp, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. You have a safe day.
Great to be with you. Get out and vote.
Yes, exactly. That is the message of tonight's show. Up next, anti-Trump protesters in the Big Apple got violent yesterday. We're going to have details on the chaos they caused. And our next guest will fill us in on just how big of threat Antifa actually is to our republic moving forward past this election. Stay with us.
States, Governor Ronald Reagan and Mrs. Nancy Reagan.
Let me make one confession. I will confess that I have built into my program a spending program also. And it's one that I mentioned earlier. It is absolutely essential that we increase our spending for national defense if we're to preserve the peace.